Most people use Nano Banana 2 just to make nice images, but it can do much more than that, including things that can replace parts of a film crew. Today, I'll show you those techniques, and some of them might completely change how you think about AI filmmaking. Hi, my name is Mira, and I create AI animations for a living. I've been exploring Nano Banana 2 a lot lately, and found some really cool workflows that people aren't talking about. By the way, I'm accessing it through Higgsfield AI, which gives you access to multiple AI models in one place, making this whole process even smoother. I put everything together for this video, from simple visual tricks to full dialogue scenes with AI audio. Let's get started. First, let's start with object morphing transitions. This means switching between two shots smoothly, so it feels like one thing turns into another instead of a sudden cut. To create the first image, head over to Higgsfield, click Image, and select Nano Banana 2. I used a prompt where a golf ball is about to be hit from the left side, and click Generate. For the second image, use a prompt in which a baseball is already caught in a glove on the right side, and click Generate. The images are set up this way to make the transition smooth. The golf ball moves left to right, and the glove faces it to catch it. This creates a smooth, continuous motion instead of a sudden jump. When both images look good, go to Kling 3.0, upload the first and last image, and use a prompt where a golfer hits a ball from left to right. It smoothly turns into a baseball midair and lands in a glove in one seamless motion. Then click Generate. Within a few seconds, you get a clean cinematic morph instead of a random jump. Next, use percentage-based expressions. Don't just say the character is sad or the character is tired. Control the emotional mix like sliders. For example, 60% sadness and 40% exhaustion. Instead of trusting the AI to guess the mood, tell it the exact blend you want. In the prompt, tell Nano Banana 2 to keep the exact same face, but change the expression to a specific emotional ratio, like 60% sadness and 40% exhaustion, while the character sits in a quiet cafe. Nano Banana 2 uses that instruction to blend those feelings on the character's face, so the result looks tired and emotional instead of like a stock image. Next, let's create an action scene from a static, dull image. This is about taking a flat, boring photo and turning it into something that feels like a shot from a movie. Upload your image into Nano Banana 2 and use a Wild West standoff prompt. Add gun flashes, smoke, flying shells, dust saloons, and warm sunset light. As you can see, Nano Banana 2 keeps the same woman as the base and adds cinematic details, so the image suddenly feels like a real action scene. Now add camera movement to make it more cinematic. Go to Cinema Studio, click Video, switch to single shot, and upload the image. Choose a camera movement for this one. Use Zoom In. Use a simple prompt like, the camera zooms in and focuses on the character's face. Then set the duration and click Generate. The zoom feels smooth and the video looks cinematic. Now let's talk about reverse engineering movie shots. This means taking a beautiful film frame and breaking it down like a cinematography lesson, so you understand why it works, not just that it looks good. In the prompt, ask Nano Banana 2 to turn a single frame into a visual breakdown diagram. Tell it to overlay composition grids like the rule of thirds, add arrows showing where the viewer's eye is being led, label the shot type and camera angle, draw a simple lighting diagram for key, fill, and backlight, and show color palette swatches and depth layers. The result looks like a professional breakdown sheet that teaches you how the shot was designed. Next, use time shifting and texture swap. Show the same subject across different eras. While keeping the camera locked, only time passes. The texture swap changes surface details like wear, damage, moss, and aging to match each era. The prompt basically asks for the same public statue in a city square across 4 different years in a 2x2 grid. Brand new and polished, slightly weathered, damaged and neglected, and a finally overgrown with moss and vines as nature takes over. The statue angle and framing stay identical, but the environment and textures evolve, so you can feel decades of history in one image. Next, let's create a character DNA shot, a full body image that defines the face, outfit, scars, posture, and overall feel. This becomes the core reference you reuse, so the character stays consistent. I used a prompt for a full body centered shot of a rugged female survivor in a forest clearing, with specific notes on dirt, scars, clothing, lighting, and atmosphere. When the image looks great, great, use it as the base for character DNA. Then create 19 more images that define the character's face and posture. I'll leave the prompts to create those 19 more images below. After creating all the images, click Character, then Create Character, upload all the images, and give the character a name. In my case, I'll name her Jessica. Now you can use Jessica as a reference whenever you create images with Higgsfield Sol. Higgsfield Sol 2.0 is a new image generator from Higgsfield. Next, take advantage of Nano Banana 2's ability to hold up to 14 references at once. This means you're not limited to one reference image. You can feed a whole collection into Nano Banana 2, so it understands multiple characters, props, and objects, and merges them into one scene. Upload all the reference images, in my case, 2 characters, a dog, various household objects, and a cozy Disney-style living room. Then, I use this prompt. A cozy Pixar-style living room scene with 2 kids and a dog sitting on a couch, surrounded by everyday objects arranged naturally. Then click Generate. You can see the result used all 14 references, arranging every element naturally in one frame with a consistent 3D Pixar-like style. Next, design a shared visual identity for a group. The goal is to create a set of items that clearly belong together using consistent symbols, materials, and style. Use a 2x2 grid prompt with 4 related objects. For example, armor, a shield, a sword, and a banner. When you generate it, each object will be different, but they will share the same colors, materials, decorative details, and lighting, so everything feels like it belongs to the same world. Next is directing with scribbles. You can draw arrows, circles, and notes directly on an image to show where things should go and how they should be arranged. Upload an image with markings like arrows and short notes pointing to specific areas. Then use a prompt that tells Nano Banana 2 to treat those markings as instructions. The result will follow your directions, placing each element where you indicated while keeping the scene realistic and cinematic. Next is a storyboard grid. This is a set of frames arranged in order to show how a scene changes over time, like a comic for film. Upload a reference image, then use a prompt for a realistic 3x3 grid with 9 frames. Each frame should show a different moment that continues from the original scene. The result is a sequence of shots that feel like natural next steps in a live-action scene. Now let's try frame extraction. This means taking one small panel from a storyboard and turning it into a detailed main shot you can use as a key frame. Use a prompt that asks Nano Banana 2 to select a specific panel. For example, the image in the 3rd row and 2nd column of a 3x3 grid, and recreate it as a standalone 4K frame in a cinematic 16:9 aspect ratio. The result keeps the same character, environment, lighting, and composition, but rebuilds it with much higher detail, ready to use as a key frame. Another thing you can do is create a shot list from a single image. Start with one scene and explore it from different camera angles. Upload a reference image. Use a prompt that asks for multiple views of the same location, such as a wide master shot, a medium 2 shot, close-ups on each character, a low angle, a bird's eye view, an over-the-shoulder shot, and a Dutch angle. The result keeps the same characters and environment, but changes the camera angle, giving you a full shot list from one image. Next, use an LLM for scene progression. This helps you decide what happens next, so your visuals flow naturally from one moment to the next. Take an image frame and upload it to ChatGPT. Ask it to write a prompt for the next scene, then copy that prompt into Nano Banana 2. Upload the same image as a reference, and generate. The result is a new image that continues naturally from the previous shot. Next is creating a style brief. A style brief is a short written description of the visual look of an image, such as noir, grainy, cinematic, or graphic. Upload an image to ChatGPT and ask it to describe the visual style in detail. Then screenshot that response and upload it into Nano Banana 2 as a reference. Then upload the character reference. Use a prompt that tells it to apply that style to your character, then generate. The result will match the color, mood, and visual details of the chosen style. Next, use real-world camera and lens settings. Go to Cinema Studio, upload a reference image, and choose a camera and lens setup. For example, you can use full-frame Cine Digital with a swirl bokeh portrait lens, a 14mm focal length, and an f1.4 aperture. Describe the image and generate. When you compare the results, Cinema Studio produces a cleaner, more cinematic look. You can also create phone-style images. The goal is to make them feel like casual smartphone photos, with natural imperfections and everyday framing. Use a prompt for a realistic iPhone photo taken from inside a house, looking out a window at a quiet farm. The result feels natural, with slight reflections on the glass, imperfect framing, and lighting that matches a modern phone camera. Next, control your light sources. Instead of saying well-lit or dramatic lighting, describe exactly where the light comes from and what color it is. For example, I used a prompt for an extreme close-up of a traveler's face, lit by warm orange firelight from below and cool moonlight from behind, with a bit of smoke in the frame. The result feels more realistic, with light shaping the face and creating a strong cinematic mood. You can also explore the same moment from different camera angles. Upload a reference scene, then ask for the same shot from different viewpoints, such as a high angle from above and an over-the-shoulder view behind the character. The result keeps the scene consistent while changing the camera position, giving you multiple shots from from one setup. You can also build action scenes by creating the pose first in Nano Banana 2, then adding motion in a video model. This works better than trying to do both at once. Upload an image and create a strong still frame with a clear pose. For example, my prompt included a surfer riding a wave in a crouched position using a wide cinematic lens. This gives you a solid base image with the right pose and composition. Then animate it in Cinema Studio. The motion will look smoother and more natural, instead of distorted or messy. Another way is to define movement using a start and end frame. First, create a wide shot of a woman standing alone in a desert as your start frame in Nano Banana 2, then create a close-up of her face with the same clothing and lighting as the end frame. Move to Kling 3.0. Upload both frames and prompt a camera move from the wide shot to the close-up. The result is a smooth push-in that connects both shots clearly. Next, you can control how text appears in your images. The goal is to keep it sharp, readable, and properly styled, not blurry or distorted. For example, I used a prompt for a close-up of a person holding a football match ticket, with details like teams, venue, date, gate, section, row, seat, and ticket number clearly written. The result came out sharp and easy to read, so it looks like a real ticket in a real setting. Another useful trick is prompt-based upscaling. This means improving a low-quality image using a prompt. I uploaded a low-resolution image to Nano Banana 2, then used a prompt to restore and upscale it to a 4K version while keeping the same subject, pose, and composition. The result cleaned up noise, sharpened details, improved lighting, and added subtle grain, making it feel like a polished version of the original. Next is micro detail prompting. This focuses on adding small imperfections and textures so the image feels more real, not overly clean. For example, I used a prompt with details like a cracked phone case corner, smudged mascara, tiny freckles, chipped nail polish, condensation on a plastic cup, visible skin pores, and film grain. The result included all those small details, making the image feel like a real candid photo. Another technique is building a dialogue scene with AI audio. I created a starting frame of a female officer walking and talking at a crime scene using Nano Banana 2, and an end frame of her sitting in a police car at the same location. Then I animated the scene in Kling 3.0. After that, I uploaded the video, selected voiceover, chose the voice Ava, and generated the audio. The result synced well with the scene and felt natural.
This wasn't random. They knew exactly what they were doing. I think there's a serial killer on the loose.
Alright, that's it for now. There's a lot more you can do with Nano Banana 2, so try these out and see what you come up with. I've left the Higgsfield link and all the prompts I used in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.